Could you go on a cruise and spend absolutely nothing extra once you step on board? No Wi-Fi package, no drink package, no specialty dining, no spa treatment, no photo package. Not even one of those overpriced cruise lanyards that suddenly looks very tempting when you realize you have to carry your room card everywhere. That is the zero spend challenge. And the funny thing is, cruise lines make it sound so easy to book a cheap cruise. You see the fare, you think, that's not bad at all. And then the extras start appearing one by one. A drink here, a coffee there, a formal night photo, a quick internet package, a shore excursion because you got nervous. And before you know it, your final onboard statement looks like it has been personally attacked by your credit card. So in this video, we're going through 12 cruise ripoffs to avoid if you want to keep your final bill as close to zero as possible. And make sure you stay for the last one, because it is the sneakiest trap of all. And it is the reason so many passengers spend more than they planned without even feeling like they were spending money. Number 1. The lanyard trap. This is one of the smallest cruise ripoffs, but it is also one of the easiest ones to fall for on day one, because the moment you board the ship, you suddenly realize something very annoying. Your cruise card is now your room key, your onboard payment card, your ID to get on and off the ship, and the little magic rectangle you seem to need every 5 minutes. So what happens? You walk past the ship shop, you see a wall full of cruise lanyards, card holders, clips, badge reels, waterproof pouches, and all the little accessories that make you think, actually, maybe I do need one. And that is exactly why this one works. The lanyard itself might not ruin your budget, but it is the first little test of the zero spend challenge. Because on board, everything is positioned to feel convenient. You did not bring a lanyard? No problem, the ship has one. You forgot a card holder? No problem, the ship has one. You want one with the cruise line logo on it so you can feel official? Of course they have that too, but the problem is, you can usually buy a lanyard, card holder, or phone pouch before your cruise for much less than the onboard price. And a lot of frequent cruisers already have one sitting in a drawer at home from a previous holiday, work conference, school event, or old travel wallet. And here is the part new cruisers do not always realize. You do not actually need to buy one from the ship. Some people keep their cruise card in their pocket. Some use a cheap lanyard from home. Some use a phone pouch. Some use a small crossbody bag. Some just carry it in their wallet. The ship does not care if your lanyard is fancy. It only cares that you have your card when you need it. Now, to be fair, a lanyard can be useful, especially if you are traveling with kids, seniors, or anyone who might misplace their card easily. And if you love buying a souvenir lanyard, that is your choice. But for a zero-spend cruise, this is the first thing to avoid. Because the lanyard trap is not really about the lanyard. It is about the cruise ship training you on day one to solve every tiny problem by spending money. And once you start doing that, it becomes very easy to keep going. A lanyard becomes a coffee becomes a cocktail becomes a photo package, and suddenly, your cheap cruise has started collecting little charges like seashells. So before you sail, pack your own lanyard, card holder, or small pouch from home. It is boring, it is simple, and it might save you from making your very first onboard purchase 5 minutes after walking onto the ship. Because in the Zero Spend Challenge, the first rule is simple. Do not let the cruise ship sell you something you already had at home. Number 2. Onboard Wi-Fi shock. This is one of the biggest traps for modern cruisers because most of us are so used to being connected that we forget what happens the moment the ship sails away. On land, you check messages without thinking. You scroll while waiting in line, you upload photos, you look at maps, you check emails, you send one quick message that turns into 27 quick messages. But at sea, internet is not just there the way it is at home. And that is where the shock begins. A lot of first-time cruisers get on board thinking, I'll just grab Wi-Fi if I need it. Then they open the cruise app, see the package prices, and suddenly realize that staying connected for the whole cruise can cost more than they expected. And if there are 2 people in the cabin, or a whole family traveling together, that price can climb very quickly. Because it is not always just one package. It might be one device, then another device, then a faster plan, then extra days. Then someone wants to stream. Then someone else wants to upload holiday photos. And before long, the Wi-Fi bill has done what cruise Wi-Fi sometimes struggles to do. It has connected beautifully to your credit card. Now, to be fair, Onboard Wi-Fi can be useful. If you need to work, check on family, keep in touch with someone at home, manage travel plans, or you simply feel better knowing you can contact people, then it might be worth paying for. But for the Zero Spend Challenge, Wi-Fi is one of the first extras to question. Because many cruisers do not actually need internet every day, they just feel uncomfortable not having it. And cruise lines know that. They know people want to post from the pool. They know people want to message from the cabin. They know people want to keep their streaks, scroll social media, check the news, and look at every notification as if the world will collapse if they wait until Tuesday. But here is the thing. A cruise can be one of the few holidays where disconnecting is actually part of the fun. You can download movies, podcasts, playlists, books, maps, and travel documents before you leave home. You can tell family before the cruise that you may only check in on port days. You can use mobile data when you are safely back on land, depending on your phone plan and the country you are visiting. And on many cruise lines, the basic cruise app can still work on board for things like daily schedules, dining times, deck maps, and account checks without buying a full internet package. That is the difference a lot of new cruisers miss. You may need the ship's app. You may not need the internet package. Those are not always the same thing. The other trap is buying Wi-Fi too early without thinking about your itinerary. If your cruise has several port days, you may be able to catch up online while ashore. But if you buy a full cruise package on day one out of panic, you may end up paying for internet on days you barely use it. And if you are doing this challenge seriously, the best move is to decide before you board. Do not make the decision while you are standing in your cabin, holding your phone, watching it do absolutely nothing, and feeling like you have been abandoned by civilization. Because that is when people panic buy. Instead, prepare before the cruise. Download what you need. Tell people you will be harder to reach. Screenshot important details. Bring offline entertainment. Check whether your cruise app works for free onboard basics. And decide whether you are truly going internet-free or just using port days. Because onboard Wi-Fi is not always a rip-off if you genuinely need it, but it becomes a rip-off when you buy it out of habit, panic, or fear of missing out. And for a zero-spend cruise, this one can make a huge difference. Because the fastest way to ruin a $0 final statement is to pay every day just so you can scroll the same apps you were trying to escape from in the first place. Number 3. The drink package trap. This is one of the biggest cruise money traps because it sounds like the sensible thing to do. You get on board, you see the bars, you see people walking around with cocktails, you see the drink menus, and suddenly the drink package starts looking like a smart financial decision. Because the cruise line makes it feel simple. Pay one price. Relax. Drink what you want. Do not think about every single charge. And honestly, for some passengers, a drink package can make sense. If you are someone who drinks several alcoholic drinks every day, plus specialty coffees, bottled water, sodas, juices, or mocktails, and you're going to use it properly across the whole cruise, it might actually save you money. But for a lot of cruisers, it becomes the opposite. It becomes a challenge inside the challenge. Because once you buy the package, you may feel like you have to get your money's worth. So instead of asking, "Do I actually want another drink?" you start asking, "Have I had enough drinks today to justify what I paid?" And that is where the trap begins. Because now the package is not just saving you from thinking about money. It is making you think about money all day. You're at breakfast thinking about specialty coffee. You're by the pool thinking about cocktails. You're at dinner thinking about wine. You're walking past a bar thinking, "Well, I already paid for it." And suddenly your relaxing cruise has turned into a maths exam with a tiny umbrella in it. The other thing people forget is that cruise days are not all the same. On embarkation day, you may board late, unpack, do muster, explore the ship, and not drink much at all. On port days, you may be off the ship for hours. On rough sea days, you may not feel like drinking. On tired days, you might go to bed early. And if you only drink heavily on 1 or 2 days, but paid for the package across the whole cruise, the numbers can fall apart very quickly. Another catch is that on many cruise lines, if one adult in the cabin buys the alcoholic drink package, the other adult often has to buy it too. So, even if one person drinks enough to make it worthwhile, the other person might not. And that can turn one expensive decision into 2 expensive decisions. Then there are limits and rules. Some packages have daily drink limits. Some have price caps per drink. Some do not include every brand. Some do not include every coffee, juice, or bottled drink. Some still add service charges when you buy the package. So, the name unlimited or all-inclusive can sound much simpler than the fine print actually is. And that is why, for the Zero Spend Challenge, the drink package is one of the easiest things to skip, because you can still enjoy a cruise without buying one. There is usually included water, tea, coffee, lemonade, iced tea, juices at breakfast, and other basic drinks depending on the ship. You can bring a refillable bottle. You can pace yourself. You can decide that this cruise is about the ports, the ocean, the food, the shows, the people watching, and not trying to beat a beverage calculator with your liver. And if you do want a paid drink, it may still be cheaper to buy one or two individually than to lock yourself into a full package. That is the key. Do not ask, "Will I drink on this cruise?" Ask, "Will I drink enough every single day to make this package worth it?" Because those are two very different questions. And for a lot of passengers, the answer is no. So before you buy the drink package, do the boring thing. Look at the daily price. Multiply it by the number of cruise days. Check if both adults in the cabin have to buy it. Add any service charges. Then compare that total to what you would realistically drink. Not what holiday you thinks you will drink. Real you. The person who gets tired. The person who has port days. The person who sometimes just wants a cup of tea and a lie down. Because the drink package is not automatically a ripoff, but it becomes one when you buy it because everyone else is talking about it, and then spend the whole cruise trying to drink enough to prove you made the right decision. And in the Zero Spend Challenge, this is a very easy rule. If the package makes you spend more to feel like you are saving money, it is not a bargain. Number 4. Automatic gratuities and service charges on drinks. This is one of those cruise costs that catches people because it does not always feel obvious in the moment. You see a drink on the menu, you think, okay, that cocktail is this price. You order it, you enjoy it, you move on with your day. But then later, when you check your onboard account, the total can look a little higher than what you had in your head. And that is because on many cruise lines, an automatic gratuity or service charge is added to drinks, drink packages, minibar purchases, specialty dining, spa services, and sometimes other onboard extras. So that drink you thought was one price may not really be that price by the time everything is added. And this is where first-time cruisers can get caught. Because on land, people are used to choosing their own tip, or at least seeing the final total before they tap their card. But on a cruise, it can feel different. The charge is often built into the system. The receipt may already include it. The onboard account may show it later. And if you are not watching closely, you might not realize each little drink is quietly becoming more expensive. Now, to be fair, this does not mean the crew are ripping you off. That is not the point. Cruise crew work incredibly hard, and the service charge is part of how many cruise lines handle tipping and service payments. The problem is when passengers do not realize it is happening. Because if you think you are buying a $14 drink, but an extra percentage is added automatically, then the real price is higher. And if you are buying several drinks across several days, that difference can add up fast. This is also why drink packages can be more expensive than they first appear. Some passengers see the daily package price and think that is the final number. But depending on the cruise line, service charges may be added when you buy the package or built into the final cost. So, again, it is not just the menu price. It is the menu price plus whatever the cruise line adds on top. And for the Zero Spend Challenge, this is a big warning sign. Because one paid drink does not stay as harmless as it sounds when you add the service charge. Then you buy another one. Then maybe one at dinner. Then one by the pool. Then a coffee. Then a mocktail. Then a drink because it is formal night and everyone else has one. And by the end of the cruise, your onboard account is not showing one treat. It is showing a pattern. The best way to avoid this is simple. Before you order anything, check the menu carefully. Look for wording like automatic gratuity, service charge, beverage charge, or gratuity added. And if you are not sure, ask before you order. Not after. Before. Because after is when the charge has already joined your account and made itself comfortable. Also, do not assume every cruise line handles this the same way. Some lines include more in the advertised price, some added at checkout, some have different rules depending on where the cruise departs from. Some apply different percentages to drinks, dining, and spa services. So the safest rule is this. If it is not included in your fare, Assume the final price may be higher than the number you first saw. And when you are trying to finish the cruise with a $0 onboard balance, that mindset matters. Because the zero spend challenge is not just about avoiding big purchases. It is about catching the tiny extra costs before they multiply. And automatic gratuities on drinks are a perfect example of that. The charge might only be a few dollars each time. But that is exactly why people ignore it. And that is how cruise spending gets you. Not always with one massive mistake, but with tiny little charges that quietly follow you around the ship like they bought the drinks package too. Number 5. Specialty dining pressure. This is one of the easiest cruise extras to fall for because it does not feel silly at the time. It feels like you are upgrading your holiday. You walk around the ship and see the steakhouse, the Italian restaurant, the sushi place, the seafood restaurant, the chef's table, the fancy little venue with the mood lighting and the menu that suddenly makes the main dining room feel like it should be apologizing, and the cruise line knows exactly what it is doing. Because specialty dining is made to feel special. It is quieter. It looks more polished. The menus sound fancier. The photos look better. And sometimes the staff will casually remind you that spots are filling up fast. So first-time cruisers start thinking, well, maybe the included food is not enough. Maybe this is what we're meant to book if we want the proper cruise experience. And that is the trap. Because most cruises already include a lot of food. You have the main dining room, you have the buffet, you may have pizza, burgers, tacos, sandwiches, poolside grills, cafes, snack stations, soft serve, breakfast spots, and casual venues depending on the ship. Some of it may be simple, some of it may be hit and miss, but a lot of passengers can eat perfectly well for the entire cruise without paying extra for a single meal. The problem is, specialty dining is often sold in a way that makes included dining feel like the basic version, and nobody wants to feel like they paid for a holiday, then somehow chose the cheap seats at dinner. That is how the pressure works. It is not always someone forcing you. It is the feeling that you are missing out. You hear other passengers talking about the steakhouse. You see people dressed up for a paid dinner. You notice the specialty restaurants on the app. You get a little offer on day one. And suddenly you are wondering if you are doing the cruise wrong by eating the food that is already included. But you are not. For the zero spend challenge, this is one of the easiest rules. Try the included food first. Not once. Not just the buffet on embarkation day when everyone is tired and confused. Actually try the main dining room. Try different included venues. Check the daily menus. Look at what is open for lunch and dinner. Learn the ship before you decide the free food is not good enough. Because sometimes, people book specialty dining before they have even given the included food a fair chance. And that can be a very expensive mistake. Now, to be fair, specialty dining can be worth it for a special occasion. If it is your anniversary, birthday, honeymoon, or you absolutely love a certain type of food, then yes, a paid restaurant might be part of your holiday budget. But that is different from being talked into it because you felt like the included options were not enough. And there is another little trick here too. Some ships offer specialty dining discounts on certain nights, or lunch prices that are cheaper than dinner. So even if someone does want to try it, booking the most expensive version is not always the smartest move. But for this challenge, the answer is simple. Skip it. Eat what is included. Enjoy the main dining room. Use the buffet strategically. Find the free casual spots. And stop letting the cruise line convince you that the food you already paid for is somehow the boring option. Because specialty dining is not automatically a ripoff. But it becomes one when you pay extra because you were made to feel like the included food was not good enough. And that is the real pressure. The cruise fare gets you on board. Then the ship quietly asks, would you like to pay again for the better version? For the zero spend challenge, the answer is no. Not because you are cheap, because you already paid. Number 6. Room service fees. Room service sounds like one of those things that should just be included on a cruise. You are already on the ship. You already paid for the food. You already paid for the cabin. So when you see room service on the app or cabin TV, it is easy to think, perfect. Breakfast in bed. Snacks without leaving the room. This is what cruising is all about. And honestly, it does feel very cruisy. Sitting in your cabin with a coffee, ordering something after a long port day, having breakfast delivered while you are still half asleep and pretending you're the kind of person who lives like this all the time. But this is where passengers can get caught. Because room service is not always as free as people expect. On some cruise lines, there may be a delivery fee. On some, only basic continental breakfast items are included. On some, certain menu items cost extra. On some, late-night orders can come with charges. And on others, a service charge may be added even if the food itself looks cheap. So what starts as, "I'll just order something quick," can turn into another little charge on your onboard account. And the annoying part is that it feels so harmless. You're not booking a big excursion. You're not buying a spa treatment. You're not walking out of the photo gallery with a package you swore you would never buy. You're just ordering a sandwich. But on a cruise, that is how the spending starts. A small room service charge here, a delivery fee there, a late-night snack because you could not be bothered walking to the buffet, a breakfast order that included something outside the free options, and suddenly, your zero-spend challenge has been defeated by toast with confidence. Now, to be fair, room service can be worth it for some passengers. If you have mobility issues, if you are traveling with children, if someone in the cabin is unwell, or if you simply value the convenience, then paying a small fee may be completely reasonable. But if the goal is to avoid extra cruise spending, room service needs to be treated carefully. The best move is to check the rules before you order. Do not assume the whole menu is included. Do not assume breakfast is fully free. Do not assume room service means no charge. And definitely do not assume the fee is too small to matter if you use it several times, because the cruise line knows convenience sells. You are tired, you are in your cabin. You are already in pajamas. You do not want to put shoes on. You do not want to walk across the ship. You do not want to battle the buffet line just because you want something simple. And that is exactly when a little charge feels worth it. But for the zero-spend version, there are easy ways around it. Grab a snack before venues close. Bring a small plate of fruit, cookies, or something simple back from the buffet if your ship allows it. Use the included casual food spots while they are open. Check breakfast options the night before. And if you know you get hungry late, plan ahead instead of ordering out of cabin laziness. Because cabin laziness is powerful, very powerful. It has made many passengers spend money they absolutely did not plan to spend. The other thing to remember is that free food on a cruise is usually only free when you get it from the included places. The moment you ask for convenience, delivery, special items, or after-hours service, the rules can change. And that is why room service belongs on this list. Not because it is always terrible, not because no one should ever use it, but because many passengers still board the ship thinking room service is automatically part of the fare, only to find extra charges sitting on their account later. So for the zero-spend challenge, the rule is simple. Before you order room service, ask yourself, is this actually free, or am I just paying extra because I do not want to put shoes on? Because on a cruise, that little moment of laziness can be surprisingly expensive. Number 7. Bottled water, soda, coffee, and small drink charges. This is one of those cruise ripoffs that does not feel like a ripoff at first. Because nobody buys one bottle of water and thinks, well, there goes the holiday budget. Nobody buys one soda and thinks, this is how they get me. Nobody grabs one coffee in the morning and thinks, I have made a terrible financial decision. That is exactly why this one works. It feels tiny. A bottle of water before going ashore. A soda with lunch. A specialty coffee in the morning. A mocktail by the pool. An energy drink because you stayed up too late at the show. Another bottle of water because you forgot your reusable one in the cabin. Each one feels like nothing. But on a cruise, nothing has a very sneaky habit of turning into a very real final bill. And this catches a lot of passengers because cruises already include so much food that people assume the drinks will work the same way. But they usually do not. Most ships will have some included basic drinks, things like tap water, tea, regular coffee, maybe lemonade or iced tea, and juices at breakfast, depending on the cruise line and ship. But the moment you move into bottled water, cans of soda, specialty coffees, fresh juices, energy drinks, smoothies, mocktails, and fancy cafe drinks, you can easily step into extra charge territory. And the danger is that these purchases do not feel dramatic. They are not as obvious as booking a $300 shore excursion. They are not as flashy as buying a photo package. They are not as painful as paying for Wi-Fi for the whole cruise. They are small, ordinary, everyday drinks, and that is why they are so easy to justify. You are hot, you are tired, you are on holiday, you do not feel like walking to the free drink station. You want the nice coffee, not the basic one. You want the cold bottle, not the cup of water. You want the soda because everyone else has one. And the cruise line makes it very easy. There is a bar nearby. There is a cafe nearby. There is someone walking around taking drink orders. There is a fridge in the cabin. There is a bottle sitting there, looking innocent, and that bottle is not your friend. For the Zero Spend Challenge, this is where planning makes a big difference. Bring a refillable water bottle. Use the included drink stations. Fill your bottle before you leave the ship in port. Check which drinks are included at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And do not assume that every drink sitting in front of you is free just because the food is. That last point matters, because first-time cruisers can easily get confused by what is included and what is not. A regular coffee might be included. A specialty coffee might not be. Water from the dispenser might be included. Bottled water might not be. Juice at breakfast might be included. Fresh pressed juice or bottled juice might not be. Tea might be included. A fancy cafe drink might not be. And once you understand that difference, you can avoid a lot of sneaky charges. The other trap is convenience before port days. Cruise lines know people are about to walk off the ship into the heat, the crowds, the buses, the taxis, and the tours. So, bottled water suddenly becomes very tempting. And look, staying hydrated is important. That is not the issue. The issue is paying extra because you forgot to do the simplest thing. Fill a bottle before you leave. For families, this one can add up even faster. One soda for one child may not feel like much, but one soda for multiple kids, across multiple days, plus bottled water, plus snacks, plus little drinks by the pool. Suddenly you are staring at the onboard account thinking, how did drinks become a whole category of regret? And if you are traveling with kids, this is where you need to be clear before the cruise. Not mean, not miserable, just clear. We are using the free drinks. We are filling bottles before we leave. We are not buying every cold drink we see. Because once everyone gets used to tapping the cruise card for drinks, it is very hard to pull it back. And that is the real point of this one. The drink itself might not be the problem. The habit is the problem. The habit of buying convenience. The habit of treating small charges like they do not count. The habit of saying, it is only a few dollars, over and over again. Because if you say that enough times on a cruise, the final bill will absolutely hear you. So for the Zero Spend Challenge, keep it simple. Use what is included. Bring your own refillable bottle. Think before you buy the nice version of something basic. And remember that small drink charges are only small when they happen once, because bottled water, soda, coffee, and little drinks will not usually destroy your budget in one dramatic moment. They do it quietly, sip by sip. Number 8. Cruise line shore excursions. This is one of the biggest cruise money traps because it feels like the safe choice. You get off the ship in a new port. You do not know the area. You do not know the roads. You do not know how far everything is. You definitely do not want to be the person sprinting down the pier while the ship slowly sails away without you. So when the cruise line offers a shore excursion, it feels reassuring. The tour is organized, the meeting point is clear, the transport is arranged. And in many cases, if it is an official cruise line excursion, the ship has more responsibility if that tour runs late. So yes, sometimes cruise line shore excursions are absolutely worth it. If the attraction is far from the port, if the port is complicated, if the timing is tight, if safety is a concern, or if you are nervous about traveling independently, an official excursion can make sense. But that does not mean every cruise line excursion is automatically the best value, and this is where passengers can get caught. Because cruise line shore excursions can be expensive, sometimes very expensive, and people book them because they feel like it is the only real option, not because they have compared anything else. You might pay a lot for a bus ride, a beach transfer, a walking tour, a shopping stop, or a sightseeing trip that could have been done cheaper, or even free, with a bit of research. And that is the trap. The cruise line is not just selling you the activity, it is selling you confidence. It is selling you the feeling of, don't worry, we've handled it. And for many people, that feeling is worth paying for. But for the Zero Spend Challenge, this is one of the easiest places to save a huge amount of money. Because not every port needs a paid excursion. Some ports have beautiful waterfronts right near the ship. Some have beaches close by. Some have free walking areas, markets, churches, gardens, museums, old towns, viewpoints, or public transport options. Some ports are enjoyable just by getting off the ship, having a wander, taking photos, and soaking up the place without booking a thing. And honestly, some passengers have a better day doing that than sitting on a crowded bus, being taken to the same gift shop as everyone else. Now, that does not mean you should be reckless. This is not about wandering off blindly and hoping for the best. Before the cruise, look up each port. Check how far the main town is from the dock. Check whether the port is walkable. Check whether there are free attractions nearby. Check whether taxis or shuttles are common. Check reviews from other cruisers, and always know what time you need to be back on board. Because missing the ship is not a zero-spend challenge. That is a financial horror movie with luggage. So the smart approach is to separate your ports into 3 groups. First, the easy DIY ports. These are places where you can safely walk around, explore close to the ship, or use simple transport without needing a tour. Second, the maybe ports. These are places where you might book something independently, but only if the timing, reviews, and return plan are solid. And third, the official excursion ports. These are the ones where distance, safety, traffic, tender boats, border rules, or timing make the cruise line option worth considering. That is how you avoid wasting money without taking silly risks. The other thing to watch is the fear factor. Cruise lines know passengers are scared of being left behind. And to be fair, that fear is not completely silly. Ships do leave people behind if they are late and not on a protected excursion. But fear can make people overspend. They book a paid excursion in every single port because it feels safer, even when some of those ports could have been explored easily for free. And by the end of the cruise, they have spent hundreds or even thousands more than they planned. For this challenge, your goal is not to have boring port days. Your goal is to stop assuming paid equals better. A free walk through a pretty old town can be better than a rushed tour. A beach near the dock can be better than an overpriced beach transfer. A self-guided day can feel more relaxed than being herded around with a sticker on your shirt. And yes, sometimes the paid tour is the right choice, but it should be a choice, not a panic purchase. So for the Zero Spend Challenge, research every port before you sail and decide where you can safely spend nothing. Because shore excursions can be amazing, but they can also be one of the fastest ways to turn a cheap cruise into a very expensive holiday. And if all you wanted was a nice day ashore, sometimes the best excursion is simply walking off the ship, keeping your wallet closed, and still making it back on time. Number 9. Spa discounts and raffle traps. This is one of those cruise extras that sounds harmless at first, because nobody walks onto a cruise ship thinking, "Today, I will be financially defeated by a massage." But the spa is very good at making expensive things feel like a special opportunity. You board the ship, you are excited, you are in holiday mode, you see signs for spa tours, free consultations, embarkation day specials, raffle draws, wellness checks, posture analysis, skin consultations, detox treatments, and today-only offers. And suddenly it feels like you have stumbled across a bargain. But that is where the trap begins. Because a discount is only a bargain if you are already planning to buy the thing. If you are not going to spend money at the spa, then 50% off is not saving money. It is still spending money. And that is what catches people. The spa often pulls passengers in with something that feels free or low pressure. A raffle ticket, a quick tour, a consultation, a seminar, a free sample, a special offer. A little card left in the cabin that makes it sound like this deal has personally chosen you. And look, the spa treatments may be lovely. A massage at sea sounds wonderful. A facial sounds relaxing. A thermal sweet pass can sound very tempting. And after a few days of walking around ports, eating too much, sleeping strangely, and pretending the stairs are your new fitness plan, it can start to feel like you deserve it. But that is exactly why this one works. The spa is not usually selling a need. It is selling the feeling that your cruise will be more luxurious if you say yes. And once you say yes, the cost can climb. There may be a service charge or automatic gratuity. There may be product recommendations afterward. There may be packages, upgrades, longer treatments, or you really should continue this at home products. There may be a special price that still is not exactly cheap. And if you are someone who struggles to say no when a staff member is standing there politely explaining why your skin, posture, feet, hair, or general existence needs improvement, this can become awkward very quickly. You went in for a relaxing massage. You came out wondering if your ankles have betrayed you. Now, to be fair, Not every spa visit is a mistake. If you love cruise spas and you budgeted for it, that is your choice. Some passengers genuinely enjoy it and see it as part of their holiday. But for the Zero Spend Challenge, the spa is one of the easiest places to avoid completely. Because you do not need it to enjoy the cruise. You can walk the promenade deck, sit in a quiet lounge, use the included pool or hot tubs. Go to the gym if it is included. Stretch in your cabin, watch the ocean. Take a nap without being sold a serum. And honestly, a nap at sea is underrated. No appointment, no service charge, no awkward sales pitch, no one telling you your pores need a 6-step recovery plan. The biggest thing to watch is the raffle trap, because a lot of passengers hear raffle and think, well, that's free. But raffles can be a clever way to get people into the spa area, show them the treatments, explain the deals, and put them in the mood to buy something. And even if you win a discount, you may still have to spend money to use it. That is why, in the Zero Spend Challenge, a discount can be dangerous. Because it makes spending feel responsible. You are not buying an expensive treatment. You are taking advantage of a deal. That sounds better, doesn't it? But your onboard account does not care how good the deal sounded. It only cares that you spent money. So if you want to keep that final balance at zero, be very careful with spa specials. Do not tour the spa unless you are genuinely happy to say no. Do not book something just because the offer expires today. Do not buy products because someone made you feel like your face has been through a maritime incident. And do not confuse discounted with free. Because the spa can be relaxing. But for your wallet, it can also be one of the most expensive rooms on the ship. And in the Zero Spend Challenge, the best spa treatment might be walking straight past it. Shoulders relaxed, cruise card untouched. Number 10. Photo packages and formal night photos. This is one of the sneakiest cruise ripoffs because it does not usually feel like spending at first. It feels like making memories, and that is why it works so well. From the moment you board the ship, there can be photographers everywhere. At embarkation, on formal night, at dinner, on the gangway, in the atrium, at the port, near pretty backdrops. Sometimes even when you are just trying to walk somewhere with your hair doing something it should not be doing in public. And at first, it feels harmless. They say, just stand here for a quick photo. So you do. Because why not? You're on holiday, you're dressed up, the lighting is nice, everyone is smiling, and nobody has asked you to pay yet. That is the clever part. The photo is free to take. It is not free to keep. So later, you walk past the photo gallery or open the app, and there you are. Looking happier, tidier, and more organized than you have looked in months. And suddenly the photo package starts calling your name, because it is not just a picture anymore. It is proof you had a lovely holiday. It is the family photo where everyone is actually looking at the camera. It is the formal night shot where you look dressed up and relaxed. It is the embarkation photo where the cruise still felt full of possibilities. It is the photo with your partner, your kids, your parents, or your friends where you think, we don't get many nice photos like this. And that is how they get you, not with pressure, with emotion. Because once you have seen the photo, it can feel hard to walk away from it. You start thinking, well, we probably should get one. Then one photo becomes a package. Then, a package becomes digital copies. Then, maybe prints. Then, maybe the better value bundle, because apparently your wallet needed a formal night too. And before you know it, your Zero Spend Challenge has been beaten by your own face. Now, to be fair, cruise photos can be lovely. If you rarely get professional-style family photos, or it is a special birthday, anniversary, honeymoon, reunion, or once-in-a-lifetime trip, you may decide the photos are worth it. That is completely fine. But it should be a planned decision, not an emotional ambush in the photo gallery, because cruise photos can be expensive, and the prices often feel higher because you are already emotionally attached to the image. That is very different from buying something before you know what it looks like. You're not just buying a photo. You're buying the version of yourself that looks relaxed, happy, and somehow not sweaty after walking up 3 flights of stairs because the lifts were packed. And honestly, that version can be persuasive. So for the Zero Spend Challenge, the best rule is simple. Take the photo if you want, but decide before you look that you are not buying it, or skip the ship photos altogether if you know you will be tempted. Because some people can look at a beautiful family photo and calmly say no. Other people look at it and immediately start negotiating with their budget like they are in a hostage situation. Know which one you are. And if you want nice photos without paying cruise prices, there are easy ways to do it. Use your phone's portrait mode. Take photos around the ship during quieter times. Ask another passenger to take a picture for you. Use staircases, ocean views, atriums, sunset decks, and port backgrounds. Take a few dressed-up photos before dinner while everyone still looks fresh and nobody has spilled sauce on themselves. You can still get beautiful cruise memories without buying the official package. And sometimes, the candid photos are better anyway. The real smile, the wind-blown hair, the ridiculous dessert, the kid asleep at dinner, the moment someone gets confused by the buffet layout for the third time. Those are the photos that often feel more like the actual trip. The cruise line photos are polished. Your photos are personal, and personal is free. The other trick is to avoid just checking the photo gallery if you know you are not buying, because just checking is dangerous. That is how people end up staring at a formal night photo saying, "Oh no, we actually look good." And that is when the spending starts. So if you are serious about the zero spend challenge, treat the photo gallery like the casino. Interesting to walk past. Dangerous to enter. Very good at making money disappear. Because photo packages are not automatically bad, but they become a ripoff when you never planned to buy them, then got emotionally pulled in because the photographer captured one really nice moment. And that is why this one belongs near the end of the list. By this point in the cruise, you may have avoided Wi-Fi, skipped the drink package, ignored the spa, walked past specialty dining, and kept your cruise card quiet. Do not let one formal night photo ruin the whole challenge. Number 11. Casino freebies that are not really free. This is one of the sneakiest cruise traps because the word free does a lot of heavy lifting. Free drinks, free play, free casino offers, free future cruises, free perks if you earn enough points. It sounds exciting. And if you enjoy the casino as entertainment, that is your choice. Some passengers budget for it, stick to their limit, and treat it like paying for a show or a night out. But for the zero spend challenge, the casino is one of the most dangerous places on the ship because it is built around the idea that spending does not feel like spending. You're not buying a drink package. You're not paying for a spa treatment. You're not walking out of the gift shop with a bag. You're just putting a little money into a machine, then a little more, then trying to win back what you lost, then telling yourself you're close to earning enough points for something. And that is where the freebie part can become a trap, because some passengers hear about casino perks and think, well, if I gamble enough, maybe I'll get free drinks or a future cruise offer. But the problem is in that sentence. If you have to gamble enough to get it, it was not really free. You paid for the chance. And sometimes people spend far more chasing the perk than the perk was ever worth. That future cruise offer might sound amazing. But what did it cost you to get there? Those free drinks in the casino might feel like a win. But how much did you put through the machines first? That little bit of free play might feel exciting. But if it pulls you back into spending more, it has done its job. And that is why this belongs near the end of the list. Because by the time you are on the ship, you may have avoided the obvious extras. You skipped the Wi-Fi, you said no to the drink package, you ignored the spa raffle, you walked past the photo gallery with emotional strength. And then the casino starts whispering, but what if this one is fun? And yes, it can be fun. That is the danger. The casino does not feel like buying something overpriced. It feels like entertainment with a possibility attached. Maybe you win. Maybe you get an offer. Maybe you earn points. Maybe you get something back. But for most passengers, the safest way to save money in the casino is very simple. Do not treat casino spending as a saving strategy. Do not gamble for comps. Do not gamble because someone else got a free cruise. Do not gamble because you think you can outsmart the ship. Do not gamble because you are bored and the casino is right there glowing like a financial bug zapper. If you want to gamble, decide your limit before you go in and treat that money as already gone. Not maybe gone. Gone. Because that is the only way to keep it honest. But if you are doing the zero spend challenge, the rule is even easier. Do not go in. Walk past it. Admire the lights from a safe distance. Keep moving. Because casinos are designed to keep you there. There are sounds, lights, machines, tables, players cheering, little wins, near misses, and that dangerous feeling of, I'll just try once. And just once is one of the most expensive phrases on a cruise ship. The other thing to remember is that cruise casinos are not just about the money you spend in the moment. They can also affect your mood. A paid drink is over once you drink it. A photo package is over once you buy it. But gambling can make people chase. You lose a bit, so you want it back. You win a bit, so you think you are lucky. You nearly win, so you think the next one might be it. And suddenly the zero spend challenge has not just been broken, it has been thrown overboard wearing sequins. So when you hear about casino freebies, remember the real question. Free after what? Free after how much spending? Free after how many points? Free after how much time at the machines? Free after how much money you would never have spent otherwise? Because a freebie is only a freebie if it does not cost you more to get it. And in the casino, that line can get very blurry. So for this challenge, the casino rule is simple. If you would not spend that money without the promise of a reward, do not spend it chasing one. Because the ship may call them casino perks, but your final statement will call them charges. Number 12. The cruise card spending trap. This is the biggest one of all because it is not just one ripoff. It is the thing that makes all the other ripoffs easier. Because on a cruise, you usually are not pulling cash out of your wallet every 5 minutes. You are not watching the money leave your hand. You are not seeing your bank card tap over and over. You are not counting notes. You are not feeling that little sting of spending in the moment. You are just using your cruise card. And that little card is dangerous because it opens your cabin. It gets you on and off the ship. It proves who you are. And very quietly, it also lets you spend money all over the ship like you're playing pretend. A coffee? Tap the card. A drink? Tap the card. A photo? Tap the card. A shop item? Tap the card. A specialty dinner? Tap the card. A spa treatment? Tap the card. A shore excursion? Tap the card. A casino charge? Tap the card. And because no money seems to leave you in that exact second, it can feel weirdly painless. That is the trap. Cruise spending often does not feel real until the final statement appears. And by then, it is too late. That is when passengers look at the account and say, "How did that happen?" But usually, it did not happen from one giant mistake. It happened from all the little ones. The lanyard, the Wi-Fi, the drinks, the service charges, the coffee, the water, the room service, the photos, the casino, the we're on holiday purchases. Each one seemed small, but the cruise card quietly collected them all like it was building a scrapbook of your bad decisions. And this is why the cruise card spending trap is the perfect final point for the zero spend challenge. Because if you want to finish the cruise with a zero balance, you have to change how you see that card. Do not treat it like a room key. Treat it like a credit card. Because that is what it becomes the moment you start charging things to your onboard account. And the best way to beat this trap is to check your account every single day. Not just on the last night when you are tired, packing, looking for missing socks, and trying to remember where you put the luggage tags. Check it daily. Open the app. Look at the charges. Make sure nothing unexpected has appeared. Catch mistakes early. And remind yourself that every little purchase is real money. Because the last night of the cruise is a terrible time to discover a problem. Guest services is busy. People are confused. Everyone is checking bills. The line is long. And suddenly the peaceful holiday ends with you standing there thinking, "Why am I paying for this?" So do not wait. Make the account check part of your routine. Brush your teeth. Check tomorrow's schedule. Check your onboard balance. Go to bed. Romantic? No. Financially sensible? Absolutely. And if you are traveling with family, this becomes even more important, because sometimes other people in the cabin can charge things too. Kids, teens, partners, travel companions. Everyone can have their own little, "it was only one thing" moment, and then all those little things meet up on the final bill like they planned a reunion. So before the cruise, set the rules. Who can charge to the account? Are kids allowed to buy anything? Are arcade games, shops, drinks, and snacks off limits? Are you checking the balance daily? Are you aiming for a true zero-spend cruise or just a low-spend cruise? Because if you do not decide before you board, the ship will help you decide. And the ship's answer is usually, spend a little more. Now, some passengers will say, "I am on holiday. I do not want to think about money." And that is fine if that is your plan. But that is different from being shocked later. If you choose to spend, spend happily. But do not let the cruise card trick you into spending without noticing. Because that is the real ripoff. Not that you bought something, but that the system made spending feel so easy that you stopped thinking. And that is why the Zero Spend Challenge is so powerful. It forces you to notice the little moments. Do I need this? Is this included? Did I bring this from home? Is there a free option? Will this make my cruise better, or am I just being sold convenience? Because the final onboard statement does not lie. It shows every yes, every just this once, every we may as well, every it is only a few dollars, every we are on holiday. And if you can reach the end of the cruise with that balance still sitting at zero, that is not just saving money. That is proof that you beat the ship at its own game. So the final rule of the Zero Spend Challenge is simple. Before you tap that cruise card, pause. Because once you remember that it is real money, half the rip-offs on board suddenly lose their power.